So, hello and welcome to this self-coaching Sunday podcast behind the scenes. And I were actually thinking about not doing this recording today because I felt like, nobody cares anyway. I don't have a following. I don't have a lot of subscribers yet. For those of you who are here, for those of you who are here, I'm so grateful. And it was not about like I was thinking about giving up or something, because I still have this core belief, very vibrant, radiant within me. I believe that we create our own journeys towards the life that we want, and that creation of that own journey is what actually is success. But anyway, I thought but nobody cares at this stage of my journey. So, and I have a lot of other things on my plate. So why bother? I mean, why bother at this moment? I can I could as well, just postpone it a little. But then I remembered I care. I care about my dream. I care about showing up for myself. And that is the topic of this video. That is what this podcast episode video will be about. As I wanted to work as a little reminder for you in your own journey to remember who you are to remember who you are showing up for more than just the audience. You are showing up for yourself and the life that you want to live and are creating. Sorry, just give me a second here. It feels like I'm going to sneeze or something. Sorry. So just let me look at my journal and notes here. Yeah, so if you just started out your own online journey or have been doing it for a while, and you start to feel like, the vibrational state that got you going in the first place have started to fade, you feel a little misaligned, and you feel like it's getting easier and easier to postpone things, or to just, like I did in a moment there, like nobody cares, so why should I? I mean, I could do this another day. If that is you, then this episode is for you. Because when you start to wander down that aisle, start to wander down that circle, if somebody or something doesn't shake you to help you snap out of that idea, that illusion projected by your old paradigms, by the thinking patterns already stored in your mind, it could probably and eventually lead you to this stage where you just feel like, that you're giving up. And that sometimes some even come as a decision. It's more like, it's faded. It ran out in the sand. And I'm here to tell you, don't let that happen to you. I mean, it's okay. We all have those moments, that's the part of the seasons, we have those slow periods when we feel maybe a little bit detached from our desire, or maybe there's just other things going on in your life um, that gets more of your attention. And sometimes maybe that is necessary to have, a little pause, and maybe you need some recovery um, to build up your strength again. And I also think sometimes it is like this. For example, if you work out, if you do heavy lifting, you want to build muscle, each time you know, do a workout session, you break down your muscles. Uh, that's the way to build them up. And I think it's the same when you are starting something new, something that you want to grow. For each time you do those new things, you break, you don't break down, but you break through the wall of terror, or the wall of the limits constructed by your current comfort zone. And it's the same when we build muscle. We break them down in order to build them up again. So once they get built up again, they will gain more strength and increase in volume, and therefore you need those periods of recovery. So maybe you're just in this phase of recovery right now. You just need to, rest your gaze in another view, um, to build those muscles that you have been working on stage, but now off stage, you maybe need to give that performance the time to grow into something beautiful. Yeah, and that leads me to my own off stage. I feel like in the beginning of this journey, I was wanting to do a lot. I wanted to do it all, and I pretty quickly outlined like a schedule that I uh, internally thought about keeping up with. My external goal is to publish at least 52 videos for one entire year, once a week. But my internal, behind the scene goal is to have this like podcast episode on Mondays. Not podcast in terms that they will be very long, but this type of connection. I want to just sit down and talk like this, um, on whatever topic that I uh, that come to my mind, or that I think is valuable for you to stretch a little bit more on, to gain more insights on for your journey, and spread inspiration and motivation. So that was like what I call podcast style, podcast type. And then I wanted to release videos on Wednesdays, more, not always, but more a little bit related to YouTube and YouTube growth, beyond the metrics and analytics, and YouTube growth for your online business, YouTube growth to monetize your dream, but also YouTube growth as a stage for personal development, and a stage for your artistic and creator beings desire to get expressed. And on Friday, and on Fridays, I were thinking about doing more of this edited versions videos. Not so much because I'm so into that. I mean, I enjoy watch other creators doing videos like that. Special educational videos, but I feel like it takes too much of my time to make those. And also, I feel like my energy gets caught somewhere between, you know, me, the lens, and the edit studio. It's like, yeah. but still, I am about learning, and I love the idea to learn new things. So I have want to keep this type of videos. Um, and then I realized that, okay, but I can view those type of videos as not only practicing uh, my ability to edit, because I think it's fun and I think it's very valuable for my other creative outlets, since I am making music and want to make, like should we call them music videos? I don't know, but things like that. Um, but I also thought about having a approach and perspective to view them as, you know, like marketing videos. Because marketing is all about capture somebody's attention so that they actually will be interested enough to, okay, buy the product. But in this case, discover what is this type of video? What is this type of content about? And I always love the idea to adjust any concept, strategy, whatever, so that it feels like you're putting, more aligned energy into it. So that was like my idea to keep those Fridays videos, uh, view them as, improve my editing skills, but also, adapt a marketing relation where I feel like I'm not marketing, I'm just giving the content, the chance to have an impact for people that could potentially find it valuable, so that, they would gain uh, the value from it. And then I have those Sundays, self-coaching Sundays behind the scenes. And that is, like the channel or the playlist or the space where I want to share more behind my journey. Um, so that somebody who is struggle in the future can look back at my journey when I were taking the real steps, not only talk about them, in a past tense, like, yeah, I know how it was to struggle, but you can actually see it in real time, just going back to those videos. And also, since I have always been into self-development, and I love, you know, the concept of self-coaching, that you can master yourself by master your mind, master your instruments. And I want to share that with you, show how I change my perspectives whenever I feel like, I am facing struggles or things like that, common to journeys like this. So, but I also been thinking about dropping those self-coaching Sundays, not because I don't enjoy them, but I feel like I don't have time for them with all the other content creation going on. But anyway, I decided to continue with it at least until Christmas. Uh, yeah, both to give it a chance to fly. If this is something that somebody will stumble on and find valuable, it's great that I did it. But also, it's about me and my commitment goal. I've learned that throughout the years from my journey. Um, it's important for me sometimes to show up for myself and show myself that I actually finish things that I've committed to. Um, Therefore, the commitment goals. Uh, so, so that back to you guys. So if you've been feeling, this sense of a slow season, maybe not thinking about giving up, but maybe feel like, yeah, you need you need to take time off indefinitely or something like that. I want to encourage you to build out systems for those type of slow seasons. I have my systems in place, so I have already batch recorded my Monday episodes, and I've already pre-scheduled a lot of them until I think it was the first week in December or something. So it would be okay for me to take like 2 weeks off. And of course it is okay because I am the commander of that decision. But based on my commitment goals, it will feel like, yeah, I'm still working towards it because I have done the upfront work. Now I'm taking a pause. But if you are not there yet, if you don't have a system in place, I don't want to feel like, oh my God, I should have done that. You just the next time you feel like your season is going up and you're feeling more vibrant again, have the system in mind. And I'm going to make more content about different type of systems to use to build your business, in the background, so that it can operate on autopilot, autopilot in these kind of slow seasons. But if you don't have it, don't stress about it right now. I just want you to really remember this. I know we all want the outside result. Our brain is constructed that way. It always wants the quick result before, the result that will make us happy in the long term, but we have to wait for it. And views and subscribers, that is, the quick results that our brain is looking for. But I want you to remember, everything beyond those quick dopamine fixes. What is the real impact? What is the purpose that you are actually want to create for yourself and others? And I want you to think of this: for each time you show up, regardless of the results, you are building resilience. You are building momentum. And you are actually building, even if you consciously are doing it at the moment, those kind of back-end systems that I talked about. But more importantly than anything, you are showing up for yourself. You have created a space in your life that you revisit daily, or at least on a regular basis. Think about it. Where were you before you made the decision? Did you have all your desires just like, dreams in your mind? Now you're actually doing something. You are building momentum. I want you to really remember that and embrace that and celebrate that. So let me just see what I wrote in my journal yesterday. That was. Yeah, and I also want to talk about perspective and perception power. Um, the thing is, we live in a world where your perception is your most valuable asset. however you perceive anything is how you experience that. You can have all the great success in the world, but if you don't perceive it as something that you enjoy, you are just going after more and more and more, you will not experience that success. And I think that if you really realize this, whatever you are experience, it is often a default mindset of yours. If you are like this kind of person, if it's rains in the morning and you're like, oh, this always happened to me, and I've just fixed my hair, and I don't know why is this. That is, that is a pre-installed mindset of yours, but you can't change that. Um, and so to take me as an example, this week has been a very low progress in terms of numbers, yes. But that is a good thing. You see, I can decide on how I want to view it. And I have trained this way so many years now, so that my mind is more, at least, rewired to look for the good in any situation. And even those times where my old programs get the best out of me, I don't stay there for long, because I know this much more gaining program. So I sometimes naturally just look for the good, but sometimes I need to give myself that push. And that is what I've done this week. So the bad views is really wonderful. It's great. Why? Let me see what I've jotted down, because I know it's good, but I don't remember it. Yeah, it has actually been like a portal to remind me to give myself the relief of the metrics and analytics. I don't want to look at them, but still I do, especially when we get the quick validation. When I got my first subscribers and the video that I forgot to um, add the thumbnail and, the behind the scenes stuff. Uh, it was the video that performed the best, and that was the thing that spoke directly to my ego and fueled it and made me want to refresh my analytics. But this week's uh, absence of views reminded me to not go there. It gave me the permission to focus on what matters, the content. Focus on what matters, me being connected with the content that I am creating, so that I give the content that I'm creating the potential to serve the people that would benefit from my vibe, from my type of content, from my perspectives on the content. So let me look a little further. I don't know if you can see it. My handwriting, it's a wonder that even I can sometimes see what I wrote down, but I will figure it out. Yeah, and in my case, I also realized that this is the type of content that I love to create. And why is that important? What I love, so many coaches out there says it's all about the audience, it's all about what they want, but I don't agree to that, because if it's only about what other people want, then we are back in the rat race again. We are doing something, we are performing in a way so that other people will like us or like our content and buy from us so that we can earn a living. Yeah, very much similar to most people, corporate's job or 9 to 5. Of course, we want to serve the audience. Of course, we want to focus on how we can serve them. We know the pains and the struggles, and we can provide, the teachings there. But it's so much more to it than that. It's about putting yourself in your business. It's about putting yourself in your dream. You're here to live your purpose. And that's the only way, according to me, to actually provide the greatest value that every one of us, can offer to the world when we are doing it from a place of fulfillment and purpose. So I just discovered, but I sensed more and more, this is the type of content that I want to create, talk very freely. I want to create more like courses as well, but not those short, YouTube videos. At least not mainly. This is the vibe that I'm into, and if you're still here in this video, I guess that you are that kind of too. So the lesson here, I think, is when you experience the slow season, see that as a permission to discover, okay, based on this present moment, always the number one compass, but what do I like? Do I like to do things in this way, or would I love to adapt? And the thing is, when we want to learn something, I talked about this in another video that I posted about me speaking freely, and sometimes very quick and sometimes very slow with pauses, because I needed to grab whatever inspired idea that popped up on my screen. And I thought that I never thought that really, but in a moment of ego being in charge of the computer up here, I thought that I need to change that. I need to speed up the pace. I need to talk, so that things made sense. But then I realized, but yeah, I want to learn that as well, as a fun way to make different kind of content. But I don't want to kill this outlet. I love this outlet, so it's here to stay. So use the slow seasons to think about you. Think about how you want to do things. Maybe you just need this pause to come back, with builded muscles ready to dig in again. So let me see what would be a good closing for this. The self-coaching question, maybe. I know that I wrote them down. Yeah. So the questions that I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on, and it's not about finding the answers. Asking questions is more about open new gateways to view things differently, and open the gateways to feel that sense of connection with yourself again. But what does feel good right now? Yeah, this is a question that forces you to actually look for what is good. And I encourage you to write the answers down, because when we get those type of questions, it's easy to reject them, like, but nothing is good right now. But if you are talking to a coach, then you have to force yourself to build meanings, you will see that there is new perspectives to discover. But if you don't have a coach, record yourself if there is something that you are into, or just write the answers down in your journal or on a paper. What feels good right now? What feels good right now? And I like the idea of doing that, because then you are, forcing the muscles, the neuro, I don't know, electrons in your mind to think in a different way. And once you have asked yourself that question, now we can, allow the space to allow the things that feels a little bit, heavy right now. So answer this question: what feels like a struggle right now? What feels like a struggle right now? And, just write down whatever feels like a struggle. And now is where the power comes in. Ask this question: what is good about that? What is great about that? And in the beginning, if you're completely new to this may feel like, very paradox, obviously, but also you feel this resistance. But believe me, do it. You will not regret it. Do these practices. You will rewire your mind to think differently. So to give you some context to this, okay, so what feels good right now? Taking me as the example, what feels good right now is that I have my back office system in place. I'm very grateful for that. It's Sunday. I've been hanging out with my family. Yeah, I feel a little bit burnout. No, that was the wrong direction. I feel overwhelmed, happy, and satisfied. And what feels like a struggle right now? So for me, the struggle has been that I don't see any views. That it's not a struggle really, but I feel like I have been focusing on the wrong things, and the struggle has been that I feel like I'm doing too much and I need some kind of schedule or something, how to manage my focus, when to focus and when to pause. So, and the third question: what is great about that? Yeah, what is great about that for me is that I've learned that no matter outside validation, good outside validation, or, the more negative side, it doesn't matter in the end. The only thing that matters is fulfilling our purpose, making place for our purpose every single day, and show up for that. What is more good about? I could continue forever making this list, because that's how trained I am. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this to show you that once you recognize the endless potential that you have, when you learn how to master your mind, you will be unstoppable. And yeah, I think that will be all for this Sunday. I will make no edits for this video. I will maybe cut out some pause somewhere. Uh, I will only use the keynotes from Riverside for description, and even I will use some of the sound bites from this session as my title, to really manifest my relief from following the norms, the strategies, rules, how to make it. not to resist them and say like they don't work for others, but this is my manifestation, how it will work for me. If you stay this long, consider to subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope to see you next Sunday for this more like live content creation.